we all made up what we thought MF Ghost would be. It was like, well, it's a racing thing. And we're all like, but what if it's Skate the Infinity with racing? And we're all like, that sounds sick.
Yeah, I pitched like a Megalo box style.
We were
we were just fanfic. We literally wrote a fan fiction about MF Ghost.
We literally made up what we thought MF Ghost should be as opposed to what it was. Don't watch MF Ghost. It sucks. Well, hello, and welcome back to Gateway to Anime. How are you all? What's going on? We are the podcast where we try and throw open the gates to anime, whether you be a new fan, a returning fan, an interested fan, ever wanted to get into anime but didn't know where to start. We're the podcast for you. Charlie, how you going?
I'm good, and I'm excited to talk about what we're talking about, which is our mid-season check-in. Sorry,
Nice.
Sam, stole your intro there.
No good.
Because I don't think I've been as excited for a season of anime in a very long time. It's like completely blown me away, and I'm actually genuinely excited to talk about the shows that I've been watching this season. So I'm stoked to be here.
Outstanding. Graham, how are you, mate?
Indifferent. Just got a complete opposite energy.
Someone's going to bring that Devonport energy back a little
just
bit,
gotta
you know,
scale
the extraness.
It's good. That's why we need you here. You know?
Yeah,
I'm like a
Just
rock.
be out of control.
That's it, the great leveler.
Yeah. Yeah, but pretty good. Pretty happy. Yeah,
Good.
It's been a good year so far. So
Yeah. This really has been an absolutely cracking season. It's not winter 2021 level good. Like that was
I don't know.
out of hand. Ooh.
I've been really. This has like got me back into anime. No, I'm still. no, as in like got me more excited for things that I didn't know about. Like it's caught me by surprise more.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the heavy hitters were in that season. It was a lot of returning anime.
It was, yes.
And I feel like I'm more excited to find some new things.
Yeah. Well, let's just go through them. Let's just go through what we're watching and we'll, for those of us who've watched it, we'll talk now. Of course, we're not going to spend too much time on the plot of these things because if you want that, you can go back to our first episode where we did the hype up of this season. But right now, we're just dropping in, just giving our thoughts as we've been going. Because obviously now we've changed the way we do these episodes where the first time we do it, we haven't even watched them. So some of the rogue suggestions that we give out can be pretty rogue. Dead Mount Deathplay, real rogue. That was wrong. Didn't know it was going to be that bad. Synopsis didn't tell me it was going to be that shit. Anyway.
I don't know. It might have.
I read a full Mal description on it and I was like, it doesn't sound that bad. Then I watched 2 episodes and I was like, what have I done?
I
I
recommended
suggested this to people on the podcast.
So you haven't been watching the second core of that?
No, which is out now. For those for those of you who like it, great, good on you.
Seems like a waste.
Yeah. Anyway, let's start with a show which I think, well, no, it hasn't taken anyone by surprise who knew. Graham, you came in pretty heavy on this, but it is of course Frieren.
Vindication.
Yes.
No Death Man Death Plays over here, Sam.
No.
Batting 100% right now.
That's it.
Actually,
Knocked
honestly,
the
out
park.
of all of us, I think you probably have the lowest strike rate of recommending something horrific. Mostly because you kind of know the source material, so you know
Yeah,
it before.
there's probably a bit of
Yeah,
that.
you
Bit of
don't
inside
shoot from
knowledge.
the hip.
Which I
whereas
think is probably the right way to do it, whereas we're like, this looks good.
it's
MF
more fun this
Ghost.
way. MF Ghost.
Sorry.
At the end of last session, Charles was like, what do you think is going to be the most exciting one? And like, I just made up what I thought. We all made up what we thought MF Ghost would be. It was like, well, it's a racing thing. And we're all like, but what if it's Skate the Infinity
Yeah,
with
we all-
racing? And we're all like, that sounds sick. No evidence that was even close to the case at all. We all just made this up. And then I watched the first episode and I was like, the fucking worst thing I've ever seen. This
Yeah, I
show
pitched like a
sucks.
Megalo box style.
We were all-
we were just fanfic.
We were
We literally wrote a fan fiction about MF Ghost.
We literally made up what we thought MF Ghost should be as opposed to what it was, which is a garbage, like shitty,
Pretty straightforward.
pretty straightforward, boring, badly animated, slightly problematic fucking sports anime. Don't watch MF Ghost. It sucks. There we go. We got off on the first one, but no. Back to where we were before. Frieren Journey's End. I mean, it's outstanding.
It's ridiculous.
Outstandingly good.
It's wholesome. It makes me feel feelings. Do you remember feelings, Sam?
Not really.
Ugh. It makes me want to be like a better person, which is kind of a corny thing to say. But I'm watching this, I was like, fuck, I haven't spoke to some friends in years. I really got to fucking pick up a phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, as someone who lives in a different country, I'm like, I'm taking some people for granted here.
Yeah.
As an
Haven't called them
immortal-
yet. Got a whole season to watch still. But at the end of this, change.
As an immortal elf, you feel that way.
Yeah, I do
You're
feel like an immortal elf
far
sometimes.
out.
Yeah.
This has been my anime of the season.
Mhm.
I knew I was going to like it when we were talking about it last time I watched the trailer. As I said, I cried during the trailer. I was like, this looks stunning and existential. And but it's actually exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
And I think this is an outstanding gateway anime because it's, and also again, we talk about, if you think about fantasy as a genre, you think anime, there's going to be so many fantasy, like, but no, it's always like fantasy with a random twist, or like isekai, like someone died, or like even, you know, similar like the shonen battles that have like fantasy elements, of course, but they're not fantasy. You could argue that Black Butler.
Black Butler.
Oh, that is fantasy.
Oh,
wow.
kind of, yeah.
Sorry, that's crazy. Black Clover.
Yes.
You could argue that Black Clover is like probably the closest thing we have to a fantasy shonen. Like it is as good
Yeah,
as.
it's very medieval. And,
But this is
European.
a classic by the book fantasy. I described it to my friends. I was just like, all my friends who like D&D, which is everyone.
Yes, massively.
I was like, it's sort of like you're watching a campaign and everyone's like level 20. Like everyone's really good.
Well,
and like the animation is stunning.
Yep.
The music is stunning. The pacing is incredible. The world is fantastic. And like, it's not, the world itself is very just by the book fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that. It's like, they're not trying to like change anything with a brand new power system. They just got like really clear. And it's not about that. It's about, as you said, like reconnecting with people, not taking people for granted. It's very existential. I cried hysterically, like actually hysterically. Oh my God, when she goes back and meets the drunk priest.
Oh, yeah.
And he's an older man and she takes on the apprentice.
Yep.
I was like, like crying at the other line.
Crying at this.
Also, I love that Frieren is a great character. She cracks me up.
She's great.
And I love that she's just such a badass, but not in like in a way that you would like never expect it. And her entire like this latest episode that aired, I think it's episode, I want to say 7 or 8.
7 or 8, yeah.
I think it was the best episode of anime I watched this entire year.
Wow.
I
It was dope.
absolutely loved it. So yeah, you couldn't like, it's been a real like pleasant surprise, even though I knew I was going to like it. I can't talk about it. It's not problematic at all. There's great character representation, great relationships, great power system. I really fucking love this show. And I'm not even a big fantasy head. Like, I like fantasy, but I'm not. I'm more like shonen side of things. So I'm like, yeah, I like, what if it's set like in a soul society, like, you know, kind of thing, as opposed to just like, we have an elf, but it's like classic, done so well. And yeah, and Madhouse, right?
It is Madhouse.
God, they
doing
don't
it.
fuck around,
They're going
do they?
back. They're winding back the clock to the old school, baby.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's
sick.
fucking sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since Madhouse did anything really good, but it's outstanding.
It's also
Looks
funny.
brilliant. It's just really well balanced. I mean, like,
Hilarious.
obviously Gerald Lillywhite, who's been on this podcast many times, he messaged me being like, I think this is my anime of the year. Like, and I'm like, yeah, it's fucking incredible.
I think we need to put a live satellite feed to Gerald Lillywhite at some point and
Every
just
now and then just buzz him in from Albury.
yeah,
Just
call
see-
in and say, what do you think? Yeah,
So you
we
can
talk
back
about
up.
him enough. Like,
Speaking of top tier shows, which Gerald Lillywhite loved and I loved, and was actually my pick for the season outside of this fake MF Ghost that we wrote.
maybe we should write that.
Masterpiece.
We should write that.
We should write the actual
We should
MF
write
Ghost,
that.
what MF Ghost should have been, which is Skate the Infinity meets
I like that we were so
Free
passionate
meets-
despite none of us really being that into Initial D.
Yeah.
Like, none of us are really big. We're not even into cars.
Not at all.
Like, I
Got big
don't.
D heads over here.
Yeah, like, why was I so passionate about that?
Yeah. You put Skate the Infinity in pretty much any context and I'm in.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
wacky
yeah.
characters.
It's
what I
fine,
want is
man.
wacky racist anime.
Of course. Wacky races.
That's what I want.
With Dudley.
Realistically, that's what I want. Crazy characters, cool cars. Speed Racer, maybe?
Speed Racer.
Maybe I just want
Speed
Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Anyway,
Yeah.
we didn't get that. So
No.
what we did get though, Pluto. Now, Pluto is from Naoki Urasawa. We spoke about it a lot in the first one. You can watch our video on YouTube, which Charles did an incredible job of explaining. But now that it's out, the whole thing's on Netflix. Hour-long episodes, 8 of them. So it's a different way that they've actually packaged it up. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. I mean, it's very different to Monster, Urasawa's other animated work. His other piece is called 20th Century Boys, which is sort of regarded as his best one, which hasn't been animated yet.
Why hasn't that been animated? Just,
I'm not sure.
I mean, it took a while for Pluto as well. So I
took
guess
ages
like
for
maybe,
Pluto.
I mean, the success of Pluto, maybe they'll do.
Yeah.
I think there was a live action 20th Century Boys.
I think
though.
you might be right.
Yeah, so I don't know, but it's famously one that is kind of hasn't been touched.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Vagabond. Is,
Yeah, Vagabond's
of
the other
course,
one.
in new ways. But again, mostly because it's too hard to animate, from what I understand. Such is the intricacy of the artwork. But Pluto is absolutely brilliant. Both Gerald and I just messaging each other during the whole run of it. We're watching it sort of at the same time together. We're both like, this is it's just so fucking good. So obviously we've talked about it a lot before, but it's a reimagining of Astro Boy, of course, Osamu Tezuka's seminal classic, which basically birthed anime. I mean, it did, especially television anime. And it's a reimagining of that, and it also kind of meets Blade Runner. And on top of that, it's also like Seven in many, many ways. It was also written at the time of the Iraq War, so there's a lot of the same thematics about an unjust invasion and the consequences of that. And, you know, in the current horrible situation in the world at the moment, these themes are always relevant, sadly. But I think Pluto is absolutely stunning. One bit of criticism, I say the ending's a little bit fast and a little, like, I think it handles it really well. It does stick the landing, but it's a little bit like, sort of gets a little bit shonen-y at the end. It's sort of like, without spoiling anything, it's sort of like, hatred is bad. It's like, well, yeah, you could have handled that a little bit more intelligently. But I still think when you actually put all the math together of how that lands and what, you know, the AI versus humanity and blah, 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 I'm not going to spoil anything. But it is beautiful. It's a stunning show. The existential themes about what it is to be human, what makes an AI human. In fact, the best form of AI is imperfect, like a human is. Like, it's just some crazy, incredibly intelligent themes which are explored incredibly brilliantly. It looks amazing. I think it's just probably, alongside Vinland Saga Season 2, my anime of the year.
I think it's interesting to have something that's adapted in its entirety in kind of a different way than we're used to consuming anime, because you either usually have like a movie or you have multiple like movies released months apart, as we've seen with Attack on Titan. But to have something that's like 8 episodes, movie long length, just to cover this one piece of work, I think is I think it's awesome, because you get the whole thing and you don't not kind of, your arms are, you know, it came out at once again. So it's like the binge kind of thing, Netflix model, which I'm not usually a fan of. I think for something like this, I think it works really well.
That's great.
Did you think that the kind of tone, they captured the tone of the manga correctly?
I think so. I mean, I haven't really read much of the manga, to be honest, like compared to you and Joss.
Yeah, I always thought the world was, in my head reading it, I always thought the world was a lot of like more of a darker place.
Okay,
Yeah.
from a
Then you
palette,
watch
from a
it,
color
it-
palette.
Yeah, just,
No, I
just
agree
in
with that.
general.
Interesting. Okay, you found it a
But
bit
then-
bright and
Yeah, it's very bright.
Yeah, everything was a little colourful. Everything was beautiful,
yeah,
but it was just, I always just pictured it more, not dystopian, but just
bleaker.
bleak. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that take as well, in terms of I've only seen 2 episodes of Pluto, so I haven't actually finished it yet. So thank you for not. I've read the manga, so I know. But I think in terms of tone wise, and I think because Monster was adapted in that really saturated dark kind of.
Yes.
I think that maybe my brain had watched Monster, read that manga, then read Pluto, and kind of put that to it. And maybe because we're used to seeing like this kind of like, you know, dystopian futuristic things done in that sort of like
Blade Runner.
steampunky
Yeah, totally,
Blade Runner type of
totally.
thing. So maybe we just like put that on there, and that wasn't actually, I guess, a kind of joining of Astro Boy kind of futurism kind of work maybe allows itself to be brighter. Maybe that does work. It's fantastic. It's a great adaptation though. By all accounts, people have been absolutely loving it, and it's just great to see this wonderful legendary mangaka's work adapted with so much care. And I think it's great. And Netflix at the moment, speaking of Netflix, have just released so much animated content.
Yeah,
So I started watching Samurai with Blue Eyes.
Blue Eye Samurai. I've been
Sorry.
hearing how good this is.
Samurai with the Blue
Samurai
Eyes.
with the blue eye. Oh, fuck.
You know what I fucking got that from? I was thinking of Samurai Shampoo, the samurai who smells of sunflowers.
Oh,
and I
yes,
kept like,
yes.
and like, oh, sorry.
The
Blue Eye-
samurai with eyes of blue.
I watched 1 episode, but I was like, interesting, because I watched it and it kind of, to me, reminded me of Arcane animated style.
Oh, okay,
That's
right.
because it's a French animation house that did it.
Is it?
So,
Oh,
yes.
it's not an anime.
No, it's not animated by, I think there's Japanese creators on it, but it's animated, it's a Japanese story, obviously.
well, obviously, yeah.
And it is animated by a French animation house.
There's only 2 nations in the world where, well, Japan's the only nation in the world where animation and comics are the primary form of entertainment. France is the second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, manga's
It's
massive.
still
in-
not the number one for obviously movies and TV.
Yeah,
and
you can
live
get your
action.
manga at the supermarket in France.
Yeah, France is the second.
How annoying that is.
Yeah.
I was schlub all the way into the city to get my manga.
No.
Yeah, sorry. Arcane obviously was a French animation
yep.
as well. And I think apparently the best animation school is in France. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
all,
all the-
like I
yeah.
say, outside of, and obviously Korea, China, you know, coming up much more. We spoke about Link Click quite recently, and there's many, 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 many more, and it's only getting more ubiquitous. A lot of work is actually being outsourced from Japan into Korea and China. So
That's where
only coming
Avatar: The
further
Last
and further.
Airbender was done, was Korea.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
years
Oh,
pedigree.
did you see the trailer?
I did.
Yeah. I guess
Segue.
we'll see. Sorry, trailer for live action Avatar. There you go.
Looks
Also,
pretty good.
trailer for live action Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes.
Which I am excited about.
Sure, why not?
I was like half zoning
pretty
out
good.
and it came up on one of my ad things and I was just like listening and they were like, Yusuke. And I was like, wait a second, is this fucking
Wait a
Yu Yu
minute.
Hakusho? And I was like, it is. Oh my God. So
Looks
we'll
cool.
see. Yeah.
We'll see. Time will tell. I remember when Gerald and I were like, we just watched the first episode of Cowboy Bebop. Doesn't look that bad. Then by the end of it, I was like, I really wish I hadn't said that before I watched it all.
But then live action One Piece came along and changed our opinion of
Was
that
perfectly
again.
good.
So we won't know. We just don't know until it comes out.
You don't know. Till then, watch the whole thing before you
But
make
yeah,
a
it seems like Netflix have just really upped their animation releases,
Yeah.
particularly anime, kind of either inspired or actual anime, as in animated in Japan. So that's pretty cool. So plenty to look forward to. I guess there's no shortage of anime at the moment.
This is true. This is true. But I want to segue now because after talking about the amount of care that was given to the Pluto adaptation by Maruyama's new production studio, we should, and of course we spoke about his first production studio, which is Madhouse, which is doing such a wonderful job of Frieren. Well, let's now talk about the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen,
Hell yeah.
which looks fantastic. But here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
So after episode 14 aired, right, a lot of people were real pissed off about the quality of the animation.
Is this
how
the last
bad
animation?
The
The
animation
last one
was
that came out?
2 episodes ago at the time of recording this. So people were real upset. They're like, what the fuck is this? Like going crazy. And to the point where actually there was a leak that happened because the director was so ashamed of the episode, he wanted his name left off. But a leak came out saying that it was him and he got attacked. He got attacked quite savagely, which prompted him to come out and say, yes, I'm sorry that I couldn't finish 250 cuts in 2 weeks, which for those of you who don't know, that's a lot. And it has become a hellish, we've talked about this many times on the podcast before, but it is a hellish schedule mapper, which Maruyama left because of this. And the guy took after him, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the guy who now runs Mappa is essentially, he's a more is more guy. And he just wants to take more and more and more and more on, imposes hellish schedules on the animators, and it is killing them to the point where another animator just wasn't paid because they lost his personal information. And like, it just seems like it's a bit of a madhouse in there.
Yeah, shit.
But yeah, no, it's actually really quite bad. And we've talked about how fucked the animation industry is in Japan often. But this particular schedule is hellish. Things are being missed and, prompting directors to come out and apologize and, just really
Was
crazy
episode
shit.
14 that bad?
No.
What happened
By
in episode
any
14?
other standard, it would have been considered like a fantastic feat of anime. Think about when we were having weekly anime released, like when
yeah,
that
the
was a
old
thing.
Naruto Bleach days,
Bleach
yeah.
days, where you just kind of expect that sometimes it's not going to have the fucking like
It's totally changed.
Gara Rockley treatment or like,
Yeah.
you come to expect like one fight will be really well and then everything else because, you've got to balance it out and people don't have the time to do so.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get back to that. Obviously, our standards are so high and it's unrealistic on these workers because I don't recall anything from the current season of Jujutsu Kaisen looking bad enough for me to even flinch.
That's great.
I don't remember
it was
episode
probably
14.
I mean, was that the beach, the one where the squid kind of
The one before Toji came in, because that looked incredible.
Yeah, so that's like the squid man.
Correct.
But like there was just like so many things happening there. Like there
Yeah.
was so many random sharks flying at people and like, God, you know what? One criticism I had about not for the animation at all, I'm not going to join on that hate parade because that's bizarre that people are doing that. Jujutsu Kaisen has a cast of 1 fucking million. And sometimes I'm just like, who's that again? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
like the blood guy. It took me so long to be like,
The cursed.
who's his freaking
womb?
brothers again?
Yeah, he's a
Like,
cursed
I'm
womb.
so confused.
Yeah.
Like,
But that fight was sick, though.
that was
sick.
people lost
That
their
was so
minds over that.
Yeah.
that
fight.
was fantastic.
I mean, this is the latest episode that just came out with Jogo
Oh,
versus
phenomenal.
Sukuna. Holy shit, that was fucking incredible.
I forget the name
These
of
poor
the guy
animators.
who animated it. It was... cannot remember. But he's known for
It's
just
a big deal, yeah.
putting everything on screen. So
Yeah.
you see like little bits of glass melting. There's so many particle effects. Like,
Oh. I mean, it's
incredible.
costing these poor people terribly, but it's
They're incredibly talented, and I hope that I mean, I don't really know.
something needs to change.
Yeah.
And like again, it's easy to say from the outside, but like it is quite clearly. I mean, capitalism fucking sucks, guys. TLDR. But yeah.
I guess
so-
one thing we can do as viewers is just be supportive and not,
Yes.
write hate mail to
Don't-
animators. Maybe don't do that.
Don't attack people on Twitter for what you perceive to be under your expectation of what an animation should look like after reading a source material like a manga. Just fuck's sake, like, don't do it. Jujutsu Kaisen itself, it's great.
Sick.
It's great. It is what it is.
That last episode was phenomenal.
This is a humble brag, not even. It's just a full brag. I just got back from Japan. And all I'll say is having the Shibuya incident arc airing whilst being in Shibuya, I was like, pretty cool. And it also, because it was like Halloween. Like it literally was the whole thing
The whole
while we
thing.
were there. And
You're lucky no veils got dropped.
the whole, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, think of a
But
worse
Gojo
way to
would be
go.
there.
I know, just fangirling. Like, no, it was pretty cool. And also, Jujutsu Kaisen, again, it speaks to just the insane popularity of this show. It is everywhere in Japan. It's everywhere here as well. I was in Enmore and there was a poster for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, the one
On
down the
the
road here as well.
Yeah, it was like on the side of fucking, the Porto everyone goes to when they're lit. And I was like, it's my boys. I got
My boys.
My chicken boys.
But yeah, I think fantastic show and still continues to be a great adaptation of it.
It does.
But I find myself more excited to see Frieren each week. But you know
Fair
why?
enough.
It's only because it's new. It's like a new shiny thing for me.
Yeah.
I think Jujutsu Kaisen, like when it came out, I was like, "Blah." So we'll see if Frieren has the same like holding power on me.
Because I still look forward to JJK every week.
Oh,
you
of
know.
course.
Um,
And it's only going to get worse / better because Shibuya is nowhere near done.
no, a long way to go.
So many fights to go.
So many
Sorry,
fights.
but what they didn't have to draw Nanami so
Oh yeah, with the when he's holding the hair, that
Yeah.
meme went wild.
I think
dude.
people were thirsty.
People were real thirsty.
But like
It
his
was intense.
his glow up from season the first, like the way that
Yeah,
they've animated him, I was like, okay, someone really likes him in the animation. They were just like, what if we
what if we just
bulked him up a bit,
Bugged
made
him up a lot
stern.
and like sharpened his features and
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
What else are y'all watching this season?
I watched the first episode of that F1.
Overtake.
Yes, Overtake. Yeah.
It's got to be better than MF Ghost.
I don't know, man. I haven't watched them. Anyway, we won't talk anymore about it. I thought it was just going to be a cool racing anime, and then the first episode you're dealing with a photographer who has post-traumatic stress syndrome, and I was like, wait a minute, where's the racing? Why is this guy having flashbacks to being lost at sea? I didn't know what the fuck's going on. And then the racing looked kind of shit, but it's only the first episode.
I also watched the first episode and I was like, it's fine.
Yeah, racing just wasn't good enough for an anime about racing, you know? And then I just like, I don't care about this photographer. I'm here for the racing.
Yeah.
Where is my racing anime?
Yeah.
This isn't Drive to Survive at all.
Yeah. Where's my wacky races? That's all I want.
So wouldn't recommend that one.
Oh, I can't say. I only watched the first episode, so it's probably not right to judge it just on one, but it was kind of boring.
I would like to spend some time talking about Apothecary Diaries.
Yes.
Oh, is this
Yes, it's fantastic.
awesome.
I am the target audience for this, though. Like, I knew I was going to like this. It actually started airing a bit later than everything else. So it's
It did,
only so there was like I think they did like a 3-episode drop for a premiere. So they're only about 5 or 6 episodes into the series. It's beautiful. It looks fantastic. It's a great adaptation of the light novel. Our boy Kevin Penkin, our best friend in the whole world,
Our best mate.
is doing
Met him once.
Met him once. Absolute best friend.
fantastic job at the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite things, I think this might be my favorite protagonist I've seen in an anime for a very long time. She is fan-fucking-tastic. And
Better than Frieren?
so, yeah, honestly, like, they're not
Jesus.
dissimilar. They're not dissimilar
Okay.
in like vibe, but one is obviously not a 1,000-year-old elf. But the concept, the way that it's done, the inner workings of the palace, like the mystery unfolding, the whole way it's set up that she's like a poisons and apothecary, it's like a poisons specialist. I think it's really fantastic, and it's because it's historical fiction. It's taking a lot of it's set in ancient China, so it's taking a lot of actual history stuff. It's a fantastic show, and I really highly recommend everyone watch it. I think it's really unique.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch that.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Looks amazing.
So good.
Looks
And like
good.
I'm just a big sucker for like concubines. Like, it sounded really bad, but like
What?
those kind of I love the idea of like in terms of history, I find it fascinating. It's like the inner workings of a palace like that, and how like the eunuchs and the concubines actually were like somewhat shadow running
Yeah, okay. I
like
get you.
that
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
fair
thing.
enough. That's fair enough.
And like how you have, in this scenario, you have a emperor. He has 4 like concubines who are kind of like vying to be the Empress.
Okay.
And they're like in different palaces and they have their ladies in waiting and then they have their own eunuchs and like it's kind of, and they're all trying to like poison each other and they're all from different areas of the country and it's like a Game of Thrones, but it's done all very like politely and through poison and that kind of like how, and I love, there's a lot of stories told like that because I'm sure that's probably what would have actually happened.
Oh, yeah.
Underhanded assassinations, that kind of thing. It's a bit Game of Thronesy. Yeah, it's a fantastic show and I would definitely watch it. If I were you guys, and you're all idiots and not watching it already. So
wow. Gee, that got aggressive real quick.
Sorry, no, you're all fine. Please go watch it though. It's on Crunchyroll. And I have said this and I'll say it again. Just fantastic to see some shoujosei or some josei seinen-esque manga made that is told from a female perspective in a way that is not super problematic. And there are some problematic things in like, you know, there's a concubine who's like 12, you know, like that kind of thing. Like it's like historically kind of accurate, but it's not portrayed as a good thing. It's like, this is fucked. But like, you know, so it's sort of like, there are things, so like content warning for that as well. But I think it's a really fantastic show and please give it a watch. Also realistic, like it's just, there's some realistic elements to the way that she navigates the world. Mao Mao is her name, the protagonist. She's just really cool. And I haven't seen a protagonist that I've really loved that much in a long time immediately. And she's just quite unique and it's fantastic. Please watch it.
Very cool. I am also watching Dr. Stone, as always. I'm not actually going to suggest that to anybody because it's like, it's fun, it's dumb, it's silly, but then it's also like full of science. I don't know. It's a bit of fun, man. If you've been watching it, I'm sure you're enjoying it too, but it's much of the muchness, much of the same.
The last season?
I don't know.
Because it always feels like that show is ending or is it just about to end?
Should.
It should? Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's in a weird spot right now. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to sit here and like tell you to watch it. It's okay. What is real weird is Under Ninja.
Oh, I forgot about Under Ninja.
Show is fucking unhinged.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God someone did because I didn't get around to it.
It's fucking weird, man.
Weird good? Weird bad?
Can't decide. So that probably means bad.
Yes.
When in doubt, is bad. My notes here are weird, bizarre, and unhinged. Maybe kind of cool, quite problematic. So take that as you will. Opening sequence has Bear from Golden Kamuy level of stodgy CGI as well. So that was, I was like,
It's back.
like just the worst CGI, like fucking abysmal. And nothing else looks like that. It's just the opening sequence looks like death.
Are you going to find the animator and are you going to tag him on Twitter?
Tag him on Twitter.
Yeah.
Has he apologized already?
Yeah. Has he apologized for?
You bastards.
I'm doing 350,000 cuts in a day.
I just completely forgot it was a thing.
It's weird, man. Like it's weird. I actually can't decide what I think about this show because it's like,
well, you've been wrong so many times before.
I have been wrong, but I like.
That's probably why.
I mean, this one you knew was a wild card.
I knew it is a wild card
because I covered it when we were like picking shows. We like kind of needed to like almost scissor paper rock for who talked about Under Ninja because it sounded so fucking dumb. Yeah, like it was one of those like only an anime. Yeah, like,
and it's very Japanese and it's like humor and it's like it's unhinged. I think is the best word you can use to describe it. But I'm kind of like intrigued by how fucking weird it is. You know what I mean? But like, but right on the edge. Yeah. Right on the edge, you know?
Could go either way.
So as a gateway to anime, no. But as if you want to watch something fucking weird and like maybe kind of cool, quite problematic. I don't know. Check it out. Sometimes I do like to have at least one show every now and then where I'm like, only anime, bro. And this is that.
Yep.
This is that.
I have one of those. So last time we posted about this, I read out a synopsis, which I was just like, this is ridiculous. There's no redeeming quality about this. And I actually got a couple of you replied with some of the most like well thought out comments. And I'm not even joking. Like, thank you for engaging.
That was great.
I like to know my mistakes, or if you think that I've kind of just got the wrong idea about something, and like I'm not going to know otherwise. And like, it's good because I probably wouldn't have watched the show, but since you were so passionate, whoever you are, about the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you, I went, you know what? I'll give it a watch. And I knew like vaguely that it was somewhat of a satire of a multiple kind of poly love story. I kind of was like, yeah, okay, but I'm not a big fan of that genre, so maybe a satire wouldn't be for me. And I think that is what happened. So like I appreciate for people who are a fan of that genre, this would be freaking funny.
It's rated really highly.
And
People
it
like it.
made me laugh out loud a couple of times in the pilot because it is funny. Like I watched 2 episodes and I have to say he's a pretty good boyfriend.
Oh, what?
He does a really good job.
Manages the
He's
hundreds?
managing. Well, I mean, I'm only up
Hundreds.
to. There's only 3 at the moment.
Oh,
you know?
wow. That's perfectly manageable.
Yeah, that's fine. But like, what I find funny is, and I think that a part of the appeal of the manga, which I am aware gets deeply problematic, and it goes like, it's not something like it's not a gateway anime. It's not for the lighthearted.
Yeah, we're in the reads now for those of you who got this far.
But I think from what I can gather is like the redeeming quality of this kind of humor is that they're his soulmates, all of them. Have I told you the premise?
Yeah.
It made me laugh out loud him with the god. The god literally just got distracted watching a really good TV show and wrote 100 instead of 1 on his soulmate thing. So now and he's just like, well, I just have to pick one. He's like,
That is
no,
funny.
if you don't date all of them, the ones that you don't date will die. Like, and that's the curse. So it's like, it's kind of, and it's like, immediately if you look at them, you get this like electric shock. And he, as soon as he goes into high school, he gets like, he meets 2 people immediately who are his soulmates. But it's kind of funny. One's a Cindia, like immediately. And because this guy is so aware of these tropes as well as very self-aware, he's just like, oh my God, we have one, we have a like kind of thing. And just kind of
So it's aware of itself.
But it's so aware of itself. And also he's really dedicated to making every single one of these relationships last. Because this guy's not like, what I got wrong in the synopsis is it kind of made it seem like the main character was like just a super horny, but actually he just wants love. And he would have been happy with one soulmate. In fact, he just wants to be in love. So when he is in love with 100 people, he's just like, I think he kind of makes a decision to like really make an effort for all of them to work and treat them all really nicely.
People pleaser.
But it's really funny because just dumb shit. Like the god is so worried about his lines getting cut from the manga. Like the skip his scene and he's just like, no. Like he's just like, there's a bit where this made me laugh. He's like he's like explaining the rules of the soulmates and the protagonist keeps on repeating it back and he's like, stop repeating back to me. He's like, you're taking up my screen time. And he's just like, what don't you get? Like I was just
That's good. That's good.
So
Okay.
it's funny. Not for me though. A bit too on the icky factor for me. I think just because A, it's set in high school. B, I know that there ends up being some uncomfortable age gap soulmates. When you have 100 of them to get through, I'm sure they'll scrape at the bottom barrel. And I just know for a fact that there's a couple I'm just like, I don't know what level. But I do stand corrected. I think I misrepresented 100 girlfriends who will really, 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 really love you. Do I think it's something that I would recommend as a gateway? Absolutely not. And is it probably problematic? Yeah. The 3 episodes I watched were entertaining and I accept that it is a satire of that genre. But if you don't like the genre, you're going to have a hard time. So that's me.
Yeah.
So I won't be finishing it, but I see your point. I see your point.
Honestly, we love chatting to you all about shows you love or things that you think we've gotten wrong. As long as it's respectful and like you're actually trying to engage in a conversation, we fucking love it. It's great. It's awesome. And yeah, that comment on YouTube was really, really well thought out.
Oh,
and
this
really
person was obviously-
really well reasoned. And I was like, hey, that doesn't actually sound like a bad show at all.
Well, and I went, well, I'll give it a go. I mean, I can't just like come out and read something as synopsis and then this person was like, hey, you don't really know what you're talking about. Correct, I don't. So I went, and you know what? That the hype ups are kind of fun.
That's
for
the beauty
that.
of the hype up.
That's the hype. The hype up's always rogue now,
Eat
guys.
crow
Just FYI. It's
or be
they're rogue.
praised later on. I guess.
Yeah.
That's what this is for. It's
Yeah.
for us to be like, whoa, wrong.
We were very, very, very wrong. I watched an episode of Shangri-La Frontier.
Oh, I watched that.
Isekai, yeah.
No, it's not this guy, is it? It's just
Yeah.
He's not sucked into the world. He just
He's
plays
in a
the game.
video game, but he's not in.
He's not in it. He just
sorry.
plays the game.
Yes, but it's from the
It's
perspective of
sorta
him playing the
like-
game.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it's not like Sword
Yeah,
Art. He doesn't
it's
get like
ugh.
trapped in there. It's just that the game that he
Is VR.
plays is VR,
Yeah.
and it's just very good.
It's like Ready Player One
we're
kind
getting
of like.
semantical, but yes, you're
It's Ready Player
technically
One.
you're right. Yes.
What
technically.
I liked about it though was actually made me laugh. Did you watch the first episode?
I did watch this.
Yeah, like so the premise is that he is this guy that loves playing really bad video games, like really shitty.
Oh,
like he
yeah.
like tries to find the trashiest, worst VR video games and he's like gets through them and then Shangri-La Frontier is like the god tier good one.
like
So
the
he
BMMO.
so he's like can beat any trash game that has like all these bugs and like doesn't work and like will fail and then like the bosses, there's a glitch, the boss is so hard, so he's a really good player. So he's like playing Shangri-La Frontier like he would play that. So he's doing all this kind of like the first thing he does is like sell all of his clothes as a character to get money and like it kind of scratches that Sword Art Online kind of itch without it being a proper isekai. I mean, it takes away the stakes of it a little bit. But I mean, I thought it was an isekai as well until I watched it. So I don't know if it becomes it later, but I think it is just that
He's just playing.
playing the game.
Just the game, right?
Yeah,
okay.
and there's a girl that's playing the game too that has a crush on him that's trying to like befriend him in the game. They go to school together. That's where I'm up to. I only watched 2 episodes. Yeah, honestly, and it's got really well reviewed. That's why I watched it. Like people really
people like
liking it. I was rating quite highly, and I can see why people like it. So if you want something like Sword Art Online, then watch that, I guess. Or I mean,
Watch Sword Art Online, whatever. I don't care.
yeah, do that if you want to hurt yourself,
Yeah.
emotionally. Yeah. What else has there been this season?
Well, The Eminence in Shadow, which is another isekai, is part 2, I believe, has been out. People seem to like that, but I've also heard a lot of people say it's super dumb. So I don't know. Sounds like a pretty classic isekai to me.
Yeah.
Was
Was it a shield hero? Was there a shield hero?
Rising of Shield Hero. Speaking of isekai, the 3rd season's out, but no one cares.
Oh.
Also, of course, Spy Family.
Oh,
Spy
yeah.
I
Family's
haven't watched it.
Honestly, here's the thing. And you were just in Japan, right? It's massive over there, yeah?
Yeah, it's massive here too. It's just like cultural.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped off in season 1 and I never got back on. And I keep being like, oh shit, I need to catch up. And then I go to do so and I'm like, I don't care.
I'm reading the manga. The manga's fantastic.
So you're still reading the manga?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so but you won't watch the anime?
I just forgot.
Yeah,
Forgot
right.
it was a thing.
Well, this is true. This is the big thing. It's interesting because the hype this show
How hot
had
that
when
show
it came
was,
out
yeah.
was massive. And like, I loved it when it first came out, but I think
Well, I
And
think people really, because Spy Family's in the name, but I think
Yeah.
people really thought it was going to be like a
more espionage.
spy
Yeah.
noir thing, but it's more of slice of life.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think that's
so I think that's the thing that people are clicking on.
And it's
Yeah.
a good adaptation as well. Like
It's
they've done it
fantastic,
well.
yeah.
But I think I prefer it in manga form as well.
Yeah.
I think it's like little bite size, and I think like padding it out to be a whole season, I kind of lose interest in the storyline. Whereas I find like reading it by the chapter, you can be like, oh, cute, and then kind of keep going. And it's
yeah, totally.
but it's such a clever show in terms of mass appeal. 'Cause
Oh,
you
yeah.
got kids, you got adult stuff as well. I know,
You
like
got
it
a
just-
dog who can see the
It,
future.
yeah,
got it all.
it's got everything.
What
It's
are we complaining about?
it's a very good like palate cleanser of a show. I just haven't seen this season, so I can't comment.
Yeah,
but
I
Yeah.
just completely forgot it was out.
there's
But this
too
is the
much.
thing.
I got to cry over Frieren.
Yeah,
again.
too much.
I've got too much to do.
Too many tears.
Well, needless to say, it's a slamming season. And it's been a while since we've had one. So
Yeah.
it's great. think it's fucking great. So
And we've probably missed things as well because we've been quite busy. So if there's
Yes.
something that we're like,
Travel,
that
yeah.
you think, and also if you've heard us talk a lot and you think we'll like it, please
Hit us up.
because
we love that.
I like to find things.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes our research betrays us, like MF Ghost.
Ah.
And, you know, and I'm looking forward to looking ahead at what next season is too. And
Yeah.
when we do our wrap up, that I might have picked up a couple more shows. There's another show I didn't get to watch that I really wanted to, which was that one with the twin boys who kind of pretend to be one person in this sort of like, apparently it's like a really dark comedy. The mangaka passed away actually recently, which is very, very sad, but I talked about it in the Hype Up, and apparently it's such a dark comedy that you don't know if you're like even allowed to laugh at it. Like it's a very like, the tone of it is quite unique. So it's something that I think I want to check out. And that anime is called Migi Dali or Migi and Dali, which is an English, because I realized, you know, I kept on saying skip to loafer and skip and loafer. So two is the English translation from and.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, so it is skip and loafer in English. So this is Migi and Dali. Apparently it is a very surreal, dark, quite twisted comedy. And I think it sounds really interesting. It sounds like quite unique. So I will check that out and give you my review when we do our season wrap up.
Cool.
The other one I spoke about was Undead Unluck, but I can't fucking find it.
This is true. I
can't find it anywhere. I don't know what's going on. I have to sail the seven seas again. It's been a while. You know, it's
Is it
really
going to be an
annoying.
on,
Netflix jail thing?
Is
It's
it
not on Netflix. I've tried that.
Disney Plus?
Disney with a weird name?
It might be Disney with a weird name,
'Cause
like Heavenly Delusion
Heavenly
was.
Delusion, yeah.
It took me fucking ages to find. If you know where I can find Undead Unluck, let me know because I want to check it out.
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere either. Actually,
No, I
now you
can't
mention it.
find it, man.
I reckon
It
it's
was
on
like
Disney.
the Reddit Power Boards. It's not been on there either.
It's been sort of it's in
Has it been
it's
in?
around there, but
Okay.
it's like sort of towards 10.
Yeah, okay.
So like it's been relatively well reviewed, but and I've heard some good things, but I just can't fucking find it. So
find it.
anyway, I'd like to.
All right.
Oh, it's only on Hulu at the moment, so it actually is
Hulu.
unavailable, which is American only.
Oh, but it'll be
So
Disney then at some point.
There's no legal
It'll
way.
come to Disney
It'll
at
come
some
to
point. So
Disney,
there isn't.
yeah.
I knew it.
God, being in Japan though, when you go on Netflix and all anime is there, it's just like it's so much better. I was like,
go.
God damn it! Like, why
It's
is
the
it
place to
there?
be, people. Just FYI.
Yeah.
But
Tokyo Revengers, you're not watching it this season? Sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you. I did.
get out.
Okay.
You're fired.
Get. Worst show ever made. Obviously, you might be like, why aren't you mentioning The Undisputed King? Because obviously Attack on Titan has ended. We are going to do a full episode about the ending of Attack on Titan, about Attack on Titan in general, because obviously the ultimate gateway of the last decade, the biggest anime in the West of the last decade. Huge, so we're not going to talk about it now, but we will do a full episode about it. But my anime of the season is Pluto. It's Pluto for sure. Followed closely by Frieren.
Mine's Frieren, followed closely by Apothecary Diaries.
Okay.
I'll probably go Frieren then Pluto.
Yeah. Right on.
Just mainly because I haven't finished Pluto yet.
Yeah.
Might switch. I don't know.
Also, that first episode in Pluto with North number 2.
But the second one
When
got
he's
me
singing
as well.
and he's playing the piano. It's just the piano.
And it was in Scotland.
It was in Scotland too,
How many
yes.
animes are in Scotland? None.
Yeah. There's an Australian robot in Pluto as well. It's great.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
Maybe it is number one.
Yeah. No, it'll get
Just
there.
based on that.
Convince me. Anyway, that is our fall 2023 season check-in. Thank you so much for listening. Again, let us know what we've missed. What are you watching? What are your favorites? What's going on? And you can, of course, find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Please go there. We love having chats with you over there. You can, of course, also find us on Instagram and TikTok. And if you really like what we do, you can find us on Patreon. Really appreciate any help you can give us. And otherwise, just hit us up in the comments, have a chat, because we love anime. We love talking to y'all. And appreciate it. Charlie, so good to have you and Joss back from Japan itself. What a wonderful time y'all had.
Yep. In a shock to everyone, I thoroughly enjoyed myself in Japan. I don't think anyone saw that one coming. Good place, good times.
Yep, strongest season we've had in a long time. So check it out and let us know your thoughts. Catch you next time. Bye.